and welcome back to the Founders Playbook, where we deep dive into the real conversations with founders and operators who are navigating change, building smarter systems, and finding clarity in chaos. I'm your host, Wagif Musayev. I come from a Salesforce consulting background, and this podcast is for growth-minded businesses looking to scale operations, improve customer experience, and explore how AI and automation can unlock real results. Today's episode is titled The AI Goldrush, Why Small Businesses Are Falling Behind. And we're joined by Matthew Gallant, founder of Growth Boss, a Canadian agency that recently pivoted from traditional marketing to building AI agents for business automation. Matthew, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Yeah, happy to be here. And thanks for the warm welcome and the amazing introduction. Really appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Let's start with a bit of background. I might start running. Can you walk us through Growth Boss? Who do you guys serve, and what kind of services did you offer originally, and how big your guys' team was before the pivot?
Beautiful. Yeah, so we'll start at the top. Started as a social media marketing agency. We also did design, and we also did development, and then we also branding. Those are our big things. And we were essentially a full service digital marketing agency. That's what we did when we started. We acquired a number of different clients, a variety of different industries. We started in home services. We did a lot of landscape, hardscape companies, like retail company that sold the products to those guys and the manufacturing stuff. And then we started acquiring clients in the fitness realm. Did that. We were going pretty well up until about January. As soon as January hit, we had a lot of our clients that started having conversations around uncertainty. I don't know what we're going to do this year. Everybody's starting to dial back their budgets. Not everybody's kind of buying anymore. So we started hearing that in January, but we weren't too scared because of the fact that we were okay, these clients have been with us for a while. We have a really high retention rate with our clients. A lot of them have been with us, some of them have been with us for 2 years, 3 years since the inception of the agency. So we've been around for about 3 years now nearly. And we weren't worried whatsoever. But one by one, they just started to take off like flies. And we were just they gave us 30-day notice. We're okay, well that's one. Okay, cool. There goes another one. And then then after the third one, we're okay, we gotta start thinking about what we're gonna do here, because we're not gonna be in a good position if this keeps happening with the economy and everything. We understand. Big thing is we understood that we work with small businesses. We also had a couple enterprises that we did work with as well, bigger clients and the really small clients. And we realized that the big clients were the big clients were even struggling. They're like, hey, I don't know if we want to spend $42K for the year on ads and stuff like that. They were dialing back their budgets. We were okay, this is kind of weird. But yeah, we started losing the smaller clients, and then we had a couple of big clients that were I don't know. We want one that's still with us. But it's wild the past couple months. So what we did is we did have a team of 12, and then what we had to do over the past about 6 to 8 weeks is we've had to lay off about 4 people. They were in departments. We essentially had to cut back some of the services that some of our clients were using, and then we decided all of a sudden that, hey, you know what? If marketing is it's been really, really challenging to actually get people to invest in marketing. All the sales calls that we've jumped on, our close rate used to be around 40%. It went down to about 15-20%. Within the past 4 to 6 months, our sales process stayed the exact same. But the people that we were jumping on calls with, they weren't keen on investing in marketing, or they were scared to invest in it because the fact of the state of the economy. They were if I invest in marketing, are people actually going to buy my products? Are they actually going to? There's some of them in the restaurants, they're selling low ticket, but some of them are a bit more high ticket. High ticket items that are $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 for some retailers that we work with, and it was wild. So we ended up pivoting. We decided this was 3-4 weeks ago, beginning of May. I was you know what? We are typically designing business systems for businesses. So essentially we're designing their marketing system, getting that up and running, making sure that works with whatever sales system they have, whether that's in-store, whether that's online or using closers. And if they sell online for e-commerce, same kind of thing. We normally set those systems. So I was you know what? The AI is becoming massive, and we're going to be able to, if businesses don't want to actually pay out for marketing, let's figure out how we can pivot and save them money instead. Because it seems like the conversations that we were having with business owners, they wanted to, they were I don't care about making money right now. I just care about surviving. So that hit me, and I told the team, I was you know what? Let's pivot. AI is huge. My lead software developer Baha was he's been pushing me for 4 or 5 months. He's Matt, we have to start offering AI. We have to start building these things for businesses. And he was in my corner. He was let's do it. And then it dawned on me. I was like, you know what? Let's just pivot our entire service offering. This is something that can deliver a lot of value to businesses. And like right now, if marketing is not a lot of value to the business, let's at least save them money, because if you can save them money on their processes, then they can actually come up with that money to then invest back into marketing to drive their growth engine. So that is essentially what we decided.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic you touched base on. You mentioned that your close rate dropped from around 40% to 15%, which is a pretty steep decline. As a follow-up question, was AI something that you had been considering before, or did that drop along with the broader client budget cuts trigger the pivot you started about like a month ago?
Yeah. So in terms of like that, we didn't anticipate the drop against sales process. We kept the exact same. When we go back to like anticipating, like we didn't anticipate this even happening. And again, like the big thing is that we found that even with like objection overcomes, all the stuff that we were doing, it still wasn't working. People needed so much more certainty that again, the marketing was actually going to be delivering a lot more results. Being a marketing agency, it's hard for us to guarantee results for clients or in specific industries. We can guarantee the lead indicator, which is essentially like we'll get you the leads, but then it's going to be up to you to close the leads. Or we can guarantee traffic, but it's hard to guarantee the sales. You know what I mean? So again,
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty dynamic market. I want to say, especially like in a consulting agency where you're working with multiple clients, it's very unpredictable. Looking back, do you think there were any early signals you might have missed, like, or was it one of those market shifts that just hit fast and hard?
yeah. So that brings me back to what we previously spoke about, which was that this always happens at the top first. When businesses at the top, they start to see an opportunity, or they start to see okay, how can we save on payroll? How can we make everything more efficient? When they start making their moves is when we should have started pivoting. I kind of looked at it and it didn't dawn on me, but I kept seeing it. I saw like IBM laid off like 700 employees. They had like other companies that essentially got rid of entire departments, and they just essentially implemented AI agents and AI workflows to essentially take care of that and save them all on payroll. We didn't see that as fast enough. And again, it just didn't dawn on me. We were like, okay, we're doing marketing and whatnot. We're good. The clientele base, they're going to stick with us. But I think for us, what we did is like we got too comfortable with where we were at as a business. And again, I put up a post last night because I was like, I never want to be in this position again where I have to rebuild everything that spent like 3 years to build because I got comfortable. So there's a thing I always said, like everybody's like ABCs, like always be closing. I'm like, always be advertising. ABBA. Always be advertising. Yeah.
Most certainly, yeah. I think I've read somewhere that AI moves with the speed of like it becomes 2 times better every 6 months. So if you started your business like 3 years ago, since you started your business, AI has gotten better, like 24 times better already. Keep me honest on my on my math. But yeah, definitely this might have been something even anticipated in advance, but it moves so fast that this happens reality. So now from what I'm hearing is you can have completely changed your offer actually. Now instead of offering marketing services, you're offering AI agents to your clients where instead of taking their money, you're saving them money. So like now that you've pivoted, what exactly is the new offer you're building for clients? Like how are AI agents shaping the core of that offering? Could you elaborate on that?
Definitely. So again, there's like to inform your audience. I know this is more AI. There's like essentially like there's 3 different types of like AI if you want to look at it. We started with the LLMs, which are the large language models. That's essentially like ChatGPT. It's conversational. You on your browser, you ask it questions, you essentially tell it to act as whatever you want. It spits out the stuff. The next level is like your agents, right? So you can essentially AI workflows. These are like automations that you can build. So you have LLMs, you have automations, and then finally you actually have the agents, which can actually think logically and they can make decisions without you having to tell it what to do. So they can essentially have that. So with that, I decided, you know what? The biggest value add right now is essentially helping businesses acquire what are called AI employees. We call them AI employees. And then again, they can also work together through the AP2 protocol, being for that, like it's agent to agent. And then they can essentially form like entire departments. You could have a bunch of them working together through a platform like N8N, for example. And then they can essentially like let's just say sales, for example. Sales is one of the highest value activities that you can essentially do in an organization. And if you can if you can build an AI sales team that can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So what we've started doing, kind of pivoting here, is we're looking at organizations. We'll map out a lot of their processes, figure out where a lot of their gaps are, and then we'll look at, okay, what AI agents and systems, AI driven systems, can we implement into their business or change so that they can essentially start or being more valuable. So the big thing there is you look at like sales is the most valuable thing. So we look at a business and we're like one of the things that you need to do first is look at, can we augment sales? Can we give your sales team a superpower? Can we give your front desk, if you're like a brick and mortar business, can we give your front desk with superpowers so you can essentially have an AI agent that's essentially answering questions, qualifying leads, all that stuff that a lot of people don't like doing. Essentially then we can get an AI to do it instead. So our offer is essentially, we essentially want to look at a business, look at their systems and be like, where can AI deliver the most value? So our big thing is helping businesses save a lot on payroll. And that's through implementation and going through an AI transformation within an organization. There's one of the guys I follow in Australia. He developed a thing called the AI org chart. Essentially, I can't remember his name for the life of him, but he's got a company called Conducting AI. Really, really cool. If you guys want to go check it out, he developed that org chart. It pretty much has all the different AI use cases in it for every single position in an organization. And then again, the big thing is you can take that, you can download it, you can be like, that's your roadmap for essentially implementing AI across your organization, because it does take time, but you have to look at what are the most valuable implementations that I can do right now just to start fixing some of my biggest challenges in the business. So that's essentially our offer right now. We're looking at a business and we're looking at where can we implement AI either through automation or it's actual agents within their business to essentially save them on payroll and make everything more efficient, deliver a higher value product or service depending on what industry they're in. And then again, if we go into industries, we are working mainly right now with med spas, e-commerce brands, think like D2C, and last we're also working with coaches. Those are like the three major ones that we're working with right now.
That's an interesting topic. I imagine by shifting so many things within your organization, there might have been a lot of, I want to say, panic within your team. So how was your reaction when you came in and say, hey guys, we're changing everything. Now we're shifting to offering AI agents. And now you mentioned that you had to let a couple of people go. What was the reaction of the people that has, remained within the company, who come in with the background of a certain expertise and now have to do a different sort of work?
So the pivot's hard. This is all change management. So the more time you give people to digest it, and if you frame it up in a way that's like, hey, like we're going to keep you on board. We're going to be pivoting your role. For example, I'll give you an example like what we did with our marketing department. Our marketing department right now, we have a handful of clients that are left on board. We pivoted most of them to essentially focusing on this new service offering, marketing this service offering, advertising this service offering. Even some of our current team members, we shifted them into sales mode. So they're essentially doing outbound. Well, we build an AI SDR, which is in development right now for ourselves. This is essentially what we did for the organization. And again, like the big thing is with people is essentially having that human conversation and being like, hey, this is what's coming. What are your thoughts on it? And really being empathetic, getting their thoughts on it. And then again, from that conversation, you can again take it in a multitude of different directions. But the big thing is your people, they want certainty. People in your organization, they want certainty. They want to be there. Their first question is going to be, am I going to lose my job? Classic. I've got that question so many times. Am I going to lose my job? Is it at risk?
It's more of a, in terms of mindset, roles, and even morale, it's really difficult to explain this kind as an owner, especially coming to your people and saying, hey, we're going to do things differently. Interesting. Right?
Yeah, if I can go one further. So the big thing is with our organization is we've been talking about this for like the past 6 months. We've been talking about it here and there. So we did have early conversations about it and the benefits. We just didn't think we were going to pivot our entire service offering to it. Getting the team on board, they were actually really receptive of it. They were excited for the change because I guess the traditional marketing and everything, it's so saturated. And some like my team personally, they love nuance and they love innovation. Like one of our big values is to innovate or die, essentially. So we're continuously innovating, testing. This is why at the top of the call there, I'd said like we're working with 3 major niches. We're A/B testing which one we want to dial in and focus on because we just launched this new offer. And yeah, this is that's the big thing with that. But yeah, change management is really important, and it's really important to be honest and transparent. Give people as much notice as possible, and then have those personal. Don't just do a blast message. Have those personal one-to-one conversations, because every single person is going to have different concerns, and they're gonna have different mental challenges that you're gonna have to help them overcome as a team member if you're gonna keep them morale intact.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of a, like you gotta be as an artist, pull the strings here and there. Being a CEO is not just showing up and getting the work done. It's day every day tackling the challenges. So I want to shift the question to a little bit from the perspective of a small business owner. So let's say if I'm a small business owner, right? I am falling behind in the AI gold rush. Why do you think most of the small businesses are falling behind in this AI gold rush? Is this the knowledge gap, the budget limitations, trust issues? What's working when it comes to educating and converting like skeptical small business owners?
Yeah. So again, the education is a big factor right now. We're at the point where we're at the early adopter stage. So I mentioned, the big guys understand it, but there's a lot of people that have, like, they've used it, they've tried it. Some people are scared to actually implement in their organization, because we even had, I'll give you an example. We called a med spa actually called us back. My partner and I were in the car. They called it back from one of our cold calls, and it was one of their front desk people that called us back. And we told him about the offer. He was like, "Man, am I going to lose my job?" So again, the biggest thing within even the small business owners, some people, they value their team, they value their people. So one of the biggest things that we've dealt with is like, hey, am I going to have to let Karen go if I work with you guys and implement this at the front desk? Is this gonna eliminate her? One of the things that looked at is like, again, you can shift your team's priorities. The big thing with AI and for small business, it can eliminate a lot of the busy work, a lot of the manual work that again, your team and humans are just not meant to do. So that allows your team, and again, they can focus on higher value activities. I look at everything like $10, $50, $100, $1,000 tasks. You don't want your team working on, as a small business owner, you don't want your team working on like $10 tasks. If they're working on $10 tasks and you're $40, $30 an hour, they're wasting their time. Let's see if we can automate that. Let's see if we can get a robot to do that, but still have the human touch, So that's one of the biggest things. But education, a lot of them don't even know what an AI agent is. They don't understand what it is. So again, letting them know, and one other big objection is like, I don't want it to sound robotic, or I want it to be like one of my team members. And the cool thing is with these things is you can train them as if they are one of your best team members. For example, if you got a profession, like somebody that's an awesome coordinator, they're awesome at customer service, you can train an AI to do that, and then it can hand it off to that human for that final touch in terms of conversation. And then that way, your front desk, for example, if you're a med spa, is not going to be inundated with the same FAQs. Or if you're an e-commerce business and so your support volume is absolutely through the roof, you can get AI to cut down that support volume massively, and then your entire customer support team can dial in and focus on upselling customers, having those conversations to make sure that they have a good experience, writing and sending those thank you cards, all that good stuff. That is the human touch that a robot can't do. They can then have that time back. Now focus on that. So those are some of the objections. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think that's the very detailed answer. Actually, appreciate it, Matt. So I want to actually stay on that topic and ask the follow-up question. Let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention in all the AI hype, right? So the limits. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of automation and scale, but AI isn't magic, and we know that. It's just a tool like any tool. It's only as effective as the person using it, as you mentioned. So what do you think biggest risks when businesses or individuals rely on AI, especially if they don't have deep domain knowledge? Like, have you had any moments where AI made things more complicated rather than more helpful? And this question comes from our conversation from yesterday, where you mentioned, hey, I think there was an article you brought up where people are going to use AI and at a certain point lose their own skills. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I watched it. I can't remember the guy's name, but I saw it. Wasn't an article, but it was a video, and he had an interesting take on it. A very, very interesting take. So he had said he was like, hey, like, people are going to start using this in their lives. It's going to become a lifestyle thing. As you know, like one of the big things is if you're watching this podcast, like, AI is really cheap. This is really cheap. If you guys remember when Uber was $3 and you could get rides for like really cheap, that doesn't exist now. Like, the minimum you're going to pay is $20, $30. It's the same thing with AI. So essentially, when AI gets to where it's going to be really expensive. But right now, kind of rolling it back, they're trying to get as much adoption as possible, because like the big companies, they want to make it part of your lifestyle. But because it's going to become a big part of your lifestyle, you are going to become really reliant on it. If you don't understand like what you're prompting, you don't understand the response that it's giving to you. If you are just like pasting a prompt into ChatGPT and then you're copying and pasting the response and you don't even know why it responded that way, and you don't know the why behind the answer and how how the logic is, etc., you're going to be far behind when essentially if the tool turns off, or you don't have that in your life, you're going to be like, man, I'm in a role that I need to use my ChatGPT all day long to do my role. If that turns off, I'm screwed. I go into work and I don't even know what to do. I don't even know where to start. So going back to that guy's take, what he said really resonated with me. He's like, every time you interact with AI, if it's a new question, or if it's a new prompt, or if you are essentially like, I'll give you an example in a second. If you're doing something new and you're not a copywriter, and you're like write copy for this entire landing page, really understand why it's writing copy in that way and understand the why behind it. If they can understand the why behind it, you're going to be in a much better position, and you're going to be able to do a lot better with AI. Case in point, if you guys know Lovable Dev, they're a company out of Stockholm. They took off. They hit 17 million in revenue within the first 90 days. Absolutely massive. And a lot of these other development companies, I jumped on and I tried to code a landing page. I just went into, not Lovable, but I went into, there's another one called VO by Bursel. I went into that and I had to code a med spa landing page. So we were doing a demo for this med spa. So I was like, okay, code me a med spa landing page. I looked at it, coded it, the entire thing, and then it spit out the website. I was like, okay, cool, awesome. But there's no images in the website. It's all placeholder. I looked at the code and I was like, well, I don't even know how to put images in. So I immediately got stuck. So going back to our example that we spoke about, I was just like, man, if I had the development skills, I could use it so much better. So I think of AI more like a teammate, and more of a teammate as opposed to a tool. Because if you use it as a tool and you're reliant on that tool, as opposed to you having an understanding and treating that like a teammate, it's going to handicap you at some points, which you don't want, and it's going to handicap your workflow.
Cool. Yeah, that's a very valid point. I feel like I would have the same example for myself. Sometimes I'm asking questions about the AI, and if I've never done this, I don't know how to, and if it breaks, I don't know how to solve it. I think that's the biggest limitation is, it will give you a beginning starting point, but then if you don't have any context about this topic, that'll be super actually difficult to move forward. Let's shift the gears and talk about what's next. What's next on the horizon for growth? Like, are there specific projects, industries, or capabilities you're excited to explore next? Like, now that you've built a momentum around AI agents, it sounds like you've built a momentum. How are you thinking about the next phase of the company's evolution?
I'm really so my big thing is there's so many different use cases for AI driven tech and implementing it as an org. We're really focused on AI transformation. So looking at a full org chart, looking at your organization and really diving in it and creating different solutions, or all those different use cases. That's what we're really excited about here at Growth Boss is really going in and essentially creating new agents, new workflows, new AI driven systems that are going to replace old, outdated, chunky systems that are not as efficient. We have a big thing in our organization that follows a Japanese philosophy called Kaizen, which means continuous improvement in Japanese. We follow a lot of different Japanese philosophies, and that's one of the things that we really want to focus on with our clients and with our own business as well. So that's going to be the big thing is essentially we're really excited over the next couple of years, which is again the AI Goldrush, is to explore all of these use cases and work with businesses to fully go from like, I don't use AI at all in my business, to a profitable business from a transformation perspective that has implemented AI, has a happy, non-burned out team, and has AI doing all the busy work, and again, improving their customer service, improving their profit margins, and improving their efficiency and their delivery of their product or service to their customers. That's what we're really excited about. Outside of that, I think I talked to you about it yesterday as well. We decided that we really wanted to fix another big problem, because Growth Boss, like the big thing with Growth Boss is Growth Boss was started because I wanted to essentially, as a founder, I'm obsessed with growth, have been my entire life from a young age. I've always been obsessed with like, what's the new thing? I need to learn this. I need to grow in this domain. As soon as I got into the gym, got hooked, that essentially set me into like growth mode personally, professionally, and now with business. So we want to create the best platform in the world, go-to platform for personal, professional, and business growth. So Growth Boss is for business growth. That is one of the big things that we're going to have people come to, the business growth side. And on the personal and professional side, we have a new startup called Fix Your Fate. That's going to be a dating startup. Really, really excited. I know this is a tech podcast, but okay. We have a really cool dating startup. There's a missing thing in this world called connection, human connection, because of, again, this is AI, so this is very valid. AI and tech is awesome. We love it, but we are losing our human connection, and we're losing the ability to connect. I see the way I see it going is people are going to use AI so much that they are going to become so robotic and so reliant on it that they forget how to be human. So we essentially developed this startup to tackle that. So we're really excited about the AI and augmentation, but at the same time, we want to be able to help people connect as humans, which is really, really important. So we have a podcast that is launching in July with that. That's going to be talking about the day industry, connection, all that kind of stuff. On top of that, we have what are called matchmaking events. These matchmaking events are going to be, we hated dating apps. So we're like, let's essentially create like almost like an AI matchmaker plus the matchmaking team that we have behind us, essentially fill out these events, invite people to the events, etc. And on the back of that, we have the coaching arm to help those people. So make sure that when they go to these events and they're mingling and getting an organic connection, they're actually able to be successful, socialize, all that kind of stuff. So that's essentially that. And that's going to be a big growth arm for Growth Boss as well. We want to essentially help a lot of people. And then if they are business minded and they have aspirations in their life to essentially, they always want to do something, and they've always wanted to start a business. And then they're like, okay, I don't know where to go. They can essentially go through our coaching, and then they can start a business. We can do all the heavy lifting with their business if they need marketing help, sales help, operational help, etc. So that's how the two kind of coincide together. So.
You seem to have some exciting projects coming up. 3 different sectors that you're working on, like a personal growth, business growth, helping people on dating app and stuff. I want to ask the personal question as a CEO who is so busy. How are you keeping up with everything, man? Like, are you personal? I'm sure using AI. What are you looking at? Like, how are you planning to implement this? Could you share some insight, like in terms of adding new people or just leveraging AI agents for yourself? What is the plan?
Definitely, man. So essentially, like I have an executive assistant. He's been my executive assistant for a couple of years now. He runs my inbox and my calendar. If there's one thing I can tell founders is that if you want to get out of the day to day and you want to get out of stop doing the busy work, get an executive assistant, and then also build an AI agent that can work with that executive assistant together, augment it, make the executive assistant even more powerful so they can focus on the emotional intelligence stuff versus like sorting out an inbox, which is traditionally what an EA does, is email processing, calendar management, all that kind of stuff. So that's essentially like how I've done it. Also on my side as a CEO is like research prep. So call prep with everybody. Again, having an AI agent that does all of your call prep. So when you get into a call, you can essentially immediately create connection with those people, and you can have really meaningful, intentional conversations. I think that's really, really crucial. And again, time-wise, using your calendar and making sure that you time block everything, and you make sure that you put in your calendar what's meaningful to you and what's going to move the needle. If it's on your calendar, it's not going to get done. I've always had that rule. So essentially blocking out that time, creating boundaries, all that kind of stuff. Because you have such a demand on your time, if you're a founder and you have a lot of demand on your time, you need to create boundaries, not only with your family and friends, but with your team as well. And then you need to teach them how to do the same as well. Be like, hey, I've done this to protect my time and essentially protect blocks that I need to keep myself mentally sane. As you know, being a founder, you can get into the weeds. You can easily spend 14, 16, 18 hours a day doing anything and everything, but you do have to rest at some points as well. So programming joy into your day, programming your exercise, your workouts, your food. So there's so much use cases for, again, you can get AI to help you out. While a lot of this, I want to create a Jarvis. That's one of my big things is I want to create a master AI, like a master coach for my life, essentially, and be my own coach,
like a Matt agent or something, right? Yeah. Then you have some pretty cool tricks under your hat. Have you been looking actually maybe opening a coaching session or coaching courses or something?
Yeah. So with Fix Your Fate, me and my co-founder, we're looking at doing coaching, not just for everyday people, but also for entrepreneurs. Specifically, my co-founder, she's going to focus on the dating realm. I'm going to focus on more business coaching. So again, if you're a founder, and you need help either starting or growing a business, and you just like, you feel like you're stuck, again, feel free to hit me up. I'm happy to have a conversation, see if they're the right fit. And then we're developing 12, 16, 18-week programs that are going to help with, and where there's two different formats. There's going to be group coaching, and then there's also going to be a one-on-one format as well, depending on how much support you need.
Nice. This has been such a great conversation, Matt. Like, really appreciate how often you've been. Before we wrap up, for other founders and agency owners out there who might be facing similar challenges or crossroads, what's one piece of honest advice you'd share for them from your experience?
Focus. Focus is so important. One of the things that I struggle with when I was early in my career was again creating boundaries and focusing. Like, those were like the two big things. So where attention goes, focus flows. So with that, if you as a founder can focus, and you can just be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this one thing for like the next like 5 years. If I have to pivot, I have to pivot. But you just want to be dialed in on like focusing on that one thing. When I was younger, I had a lot of what's called shiny object syndrome. You probably experienced that as well. If the girl in the red dress that you always see, and you're like, oh, I gotta go after this one, we got after this one. The thing is, if you don't stick with one vehicle, and you're going in that vehicle forward, if you try to push a bunch of different vehicles, it's really hard to move and grow. So again, focus, really, really important. And if it's okay to be unbalanced, it is. I'm going to say that I might get a lot of hate for that. It's okay to be unbalanced, because again, if you're focused, you can't be balanced, and if you're balanced, you can't be focused in terms of like speed, agility, and moving forward. Still keep your health in check, but like there's a season for focus, and there's a season for balance.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think if you want to achieve some great things in life, being you gotta be uncomfortable. I think I would say comfortable with being uncomfortable. So that's how I like to say, yeah. Well, thanks so much, Matt, again. I mean, this has been a super cool conversation. If you want to follow Matthew or learn more about what he's building in Crossbows, we've included all the links in the show notes. Thanks again for joining, and thanks to everyone listening. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tune in next week. We'll be back with more stories from founders navigating the new frontier of business and tech. Until next time, stay sharp and stay curious. Thanks again, Matt.